everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read The Pirate's Wife, the remarkable true story of Sarah Kidd. This is by Daphne Palmer Granacopolus. And it's woefully short, but given what little we know about Sarah, it's actually more than what we knew before in the Ultimate Guide to Pirates. If you've read the Ultimate Guide to Pirates, Sarah's not even mentioned in this, so she's done her research right. And I didn't even know that William Kidd had a wife. But it's so intriguing for the time, because women didn't get married until they were in their 20s, and she got married really young to her first husband, and subsequently he died, and she remarried, and then he died, and then she met William, and it was love at first sight. So that's where our story actually really begins. But we see her as a very business savvy woman, and she really understood the value of a hard-earned dollar, although she knew that she was going to be cash poor when she lost her husbands, because when you're married, and I mean even in that society, your wealth was tied to your husband. You didn't have any wealth of yourself. If you were single, however, you did, but it was actually better to be married than single. So I thought that was very intriguing. There was a lot of really good information here about Sarah, and she's the only woman who really, she wasn't a pirate. She was just part of the crew, and the men treated her with dignity and respect, because that's how William wanted it to be. And William, he just was completely enamored of her, and the way that he acted around her, it showed his true character. And I thought that was also very interesting and different and unique, because it just shows that William was a man who had integrity. He was a man who was a gentleman. He was genteel. He had courtesy, and he understood that his true mooring, or his real anchor, was his wife Sarah, and she provided him children. And it's just absolutely fascinating. And being a person who's just obsessed with pirates, and knowing what I do about William, I thought, I have to read this. I absolutely have to read this. And it's too bad that there are no movies about her, because she would really make a very interesting character to make a movie about, honestly. I don't know who would go see it, but of course we have Anne Bonny and Mary, I forget Mary's last name, but Anne Bonny and Mary were the only other two pirates mentioned by name here. And it wasn't common for women to be pirates, because it just wasn't done. It was considered improper and very controversial, sort of like Lady Godiva parading about naked on horseback. I mean, it was a statement for its time, and it was controversial too. I think the more controversial wasn't even that, but a woman wearing bloomers, I mean, like trousers. That was not, it just was considered forbidden. And a woman who did that, she was looked almost shunned, almost like they looked down on her completely. And a woman, if they were going to be a pirate, they would go incognito and stow away. And Anne Bonny didn't. Calico Jack's wife, she didn't. What was so interesting is when they were tried, they pled the belly, or they said, hey, I'm pregnant, so they got a reprieve and they didn't get hung. A lot of pirates got hung. Not any of them got keel hauled. If somebody got caught by a pirate, sometimes they would get keel hauled, or walk the plank. It depended on what the captain was feeling like at the time, and they were merciless. They were very cruel, and it was often said that, well, Kidd, he didn't seem to be one of those types. He seemed to be more like a Stede Bonnet type. Stede Bonnet was he still had some ruthless tendencies, but he was nowhere near Bluebeard or Blackbeard. Blackbeard was the worst of the worst. Blackbeard's my favorite, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but I love anything I can find about Blackbeard. I love Blackbeard. Even though he was very cutthroat, he was no nonsense, he pulled no punches, he took no guff, and he was just absolutely bloodthirsty and cruel, and nobody messed with him. He was a badass. And not only that, but he often, I think it's true that his beard caught on fire at one point. There's a very famous depiction of that. I'm not sure what led to that, but that image is just so indelibly engraved in my head. So I've never forgotten. I don't know if it's hearsay or if the tale was true, but I just always pictured that beard smoking. And yeah, that's part of the Blackbeard myth. Even if it isn't true, it's still just epic. But I think that Sarah herself was just a portrait of an indelible, indomitable spirit who she stuck with William thick and thin, and she defended him in court. So I thought, she really did love him, and she was loyal. So their love was an actual true love. So if you're into pirates like I am, I would highly recommend this one, even though it's woefully short. But that's all I got to say. So until next time, live long, prosper.